Hi, so starting in standing, come into your Pilates posture with your feet. So you got toes forward, heels to the back of the room, knees are softening, and I'd like you to put your fingertips on your hip bones. So through this first movement, we're keeping the hips beautifully level. Could I ask you to put your weight into your leg on one side? I want to say right leg, but it might come across as being the left leg on the screen. So you're swaying to one side and then come back to centre. Now we'll sway to the other side. Good, and come back to centre. As you sway over, have a moment to think about the balance points on your feet. So the 2 points at the front and the 1 point in the heel, try and get even weight. Same on the other side. Lovely. We are swaying over again. I'd like you to hold that position there, and with your opposite heel, can you float it off the mat, knees tracking forwards, and release it back. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So we float. Good. Heel peels off, knee tracks forwards, and then bring it back. So trying to keep those hip bones super, super level. Lovely. Now I'm alerting you to the fact that as you go into the movement, your side bum muscles should be switching on. So when you float over, can you feel this side bum muscle working? Same on the other side. Good. Now let's just do 2 more. I'm going to bring my arms down. Very nice if you can do this in front of a mirror actually, so you can see all of your alignment. And then the final one. We're going to come back to this in a second. Beautiful. And then relax down, just find your balance points, nice even weight through the feet this time. Could you start to float your arms up, go into about chest height, and then bring the arms back down again. Top of the shoulders stay low, so we're not lifting up here. If you've had a bad day, you might feel there's a lot of tension in those shoulders. They might start to lift up a little bit, but we're preventing that from happening. So relax those shoulders down. On the next one, guys, keep the elbows soft. Can you start to open, bring back, and release the arms down again. We're going for a shoulder blade squeeze. So we lift up, gently squeezing the shoulder blades together here, and then bring it back and release off. Beautiful movement if you've been sitting down a lot at a desk, yeah. Hunched over a laptop, that's my primary posture in the house, and then bring it back. One more if you can. Good. Opening, shoulder blade squeeze, and release it off from there. Guys, I'm going to go back to our heel floats. So can you sway over? Glute med maybe switching on. Lift up the heel, knee tracks forwards, and bring it back. One more to the other side, and then we're going to add on, make it a bit harder. Good. Lovely. Okay, sway back over, sway back over. Heel peel off, and then bring it back, and then more quickly you are picking the other heel up, and then bring it back. Now, what's happening through the hip bones? Are we as level as they can be? What we're trying to prevent, just so that you know, is a hip lift up, yep, or lots of movement in the lower back. So quickening up, good. And then every time you pick that heel up, glute med switches on the other side. Now have a look at what I'm about to do next. I'm literally just going to start to switch it over. So both heels are lifted at 1 point. Fabulous. Pelvis super stable. Last few. Good. Can we do 2 more? Final one. And release off. Beautiful exercise for pelvic stability. Move what you need to move, and then just bring your feet back underneath your hips again. A little bit of lateral flexion. Take a beautiful breath in standing, and we've got an exhale to drop. Inhaling to come back up and exhaling to drop. Good. A few more times here. Please remember, if you've got any back conditions, shouldn't be going into a big range flexion like this. Keep it small. But everybody else, you might bring that middle finger down towards your heel bone. Exhaling, coming over. And we've got the chin thereabouts in line with the breastbone, yeah? So we're not making a big move through the neck. And one more on each side. Fabulous. Pelvis is really still, so we're sending hydration into the lower back, into the discs, and then bring it up. Just move what you need to move. Guys, we're going to come into a tandem stance. So I've got my feet to the front of the mat. I appreciate you might not be using one. And I'm taking a leg behind me. So I'm imagining at the moment my feet are on train tracks, yeah? So we've got them parallel. Can you bring your arms across your chest, lengthen up through your spine, keep looking towards me, but can you take your shoulders, rib cage and hip bones around in the direction of that back leg, and then hip bones, rib cage and shoulders come back. If your neck feels good, send it along for the ride. So we're taking shoulders, rib cage, hip bones round, and then returning with the hip bones, rib cage and shoulders. If you've got your balance and you want to challenge that back leg a bit more, you could start to bring your big toe towards the front heel. Good. Make sure that you are evenly weighted through the feet. So you're not holding weight into the back or the front leg. And again, now you've assessed it gently, you might bring your big toe further towards that back heel, yeah? Some people, maybe not me today, can come into a beam position. So like you're on a tightrope or a beam. I'm going to give it a go. Much harder. Fabulous. Can I ask you to do one more? Real challenge for me, this. And then bring it back. I'm presuming that back leg has kicked on, and then just take some movement. Hug position with the arms. Tucking the pelvis under. So if you can see at the moment, I've got a pretty neutral lower back, knees softening, and then just see it's like you're taking your tailbone under, so it's that position. I'm literally just flattening my lower back off. Can you separate your shoulder blades this time? Maybe drop your chin, and we're going to take one breath in between the shoulder blades. So focus it there. Exhale and release off. You are going to take your other leg behind you into a tandem stance. Good. Arms across the chest. All the information that we did on the other side applies to this side. Just look towards me for a second. Shoulders are moving, rib cage and then the hip bones. And then bring the hip bones back, rib cage and shoulders. If you feel balanced, allow your head to turn along with your shoulders. Good. Now immediately assessing how you feel with your balance on this side. Can you bring your back big toes towards your heel a touch more? Keep the spine beautifully long as you rotate. Good. Another one. Oh, excuse me. That sounded pathetic, didn't it? Yeah. And then for the final two, can we bring that back big toe in a touch more? Or even come into a complete balanced position in that tandem stance. So you're on your tightrope or beam. Oh yes, this is difficult again, real challenge. I feel slightly better on this side, only slightly though. One more time. Gorgeous. And then bring it back. Take some movement. Good, really nice work. Okay, so we'll come down to the mat. We're coming onto all fours. So the first thing we'll start with is a cat stretch. So we have our wrists underneath our shoulders. We've got our knees underneath our hips. Starting with our neutral spine. We're going to tuck that pelvis under again, guys. So it's like you're just flattening off a little bit, but then we keep that rolling movement. So middle of the back comes up and we allow the head to drop. And let's come out of it. And one more here, just one more. Lovely. And coming out of it again. Back extension work coming all the way down to the mat. So, let me just take my microphone off. I'll put it on the end here. I think you can hear me from here. We have our head down and our arms are in our lovely W shape. So let's just go through the movement pattern running down the body. Shoulder blades come down the back. We've got a light connection with the tummy muscles, yes? And I'd like you to just start to squeeze into those glutes. So sending the sit bones towards each other and then release that back off again. Do it one more time, guys. So the shoulder blades come down the back, abdominals engage gently, and then the glutes squeeze. Release it off. Let's go into our back extension. So shoulder blades, abdominals engage, and as we peel the head and breastbone off, squeeze into the glutes. And we're bringing it back down. Can we do that again? Yep. So shoulder blades, abdominals, head and breastbone peel off, glutes start to work. And then bring it back down. Now I'd like you to imagine you've got a spirit level on the back of the shoulders. If you're able to, can you come up to your position with your back extension and then float one arm off? Don't allow yourself to rock. Bring the arm down and release it back again. Same on the other side, so we're just using that other arm. So we lift, keep the shoulders really level. Other arm comes off, you might not be able to see it because of my hair. Bring the arm down and then release it down. Can we keep on going? I'd like you to think about a couple of things. Keep on going. First thing is, are your heels rotating up to the ceiling? Don't mean for you to bend your knees yet, just heels up to the ceiling. That will encourage your bum to work. And is it possible to come up? And is it possible to come up a bit higher through your breastbone before you lift the arm up? Is the neck long? So you should be looking maybe towards the end of the mat, yeah, with a gently lifted head. I call it a ski slope neck. Fabulous. Can you even up on each side? If you started with that arm, can you finish off with that arm? Good. And relax it back again. We'll drop back into child's pose, so we'll take a stretch through the back. Oh, lovely. I heard my back click then. It needed it though. Just once. Take your time, take your time. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then we'll come onto our backs to do some abdominal work. Now, position here. Again, we're finding neutral with the pelvis. So can you just gently tip your pelvis forwards, backwards, and then forwards. So if you have a blueberry under your lower back, you're going to squish it in that direction. But it's going to spring back as you tip the pelvis forward, yep? So you could really just kind of slip your hand maybe under that lower back or fingertips. Reduce your range of movement, guys, and settle yourself on the flat part of the pelvis. So you found your sacrum, that triangular bone. Arms are relaxed down. Could you put one hand on your tummy, relax your shoulders? Can we float 1 foot up? So you're bringing your leg into tabletop and then float the foot back again. Same on the other leg. As we do this, you're just checking in with those tummy muscles, making sure that they are not popping out, making sure that they're working. Once you've had a check, you can put the arms back. Good. So we can stay on with this. It's a lovely exercise. But if you can you bring yourself into tabletop? Now, you're going to keep your knee in line with your ankle. Can you drop your leg out to the side without your pelvis tipping? Notice you've got the tummy muscles maybe switching on a bit more. Bring the leg back and float the foot down. Little tip for this is just to lodge your fingertips behind the pelvis. Now, as you drop your leg out, are you pressing into those fingertips or not? Are you stable in the pelvis? Same goes for the hip bones. If you find your hip bones at the front of the body, can you feel your pelvis is wonking over, tipping over as you drop the leg? We'll keep on going. We'll do a few more. I'll pop a breathing pattern in. Might be complicated. Just make sure you're breathing if you don't like my breathing pattern. But can you take a breath in to lift up the leg and an exhale to drop out? Make sure this knee is staying up to the ceiling. Inhale to bring the leg back and exhale it down. So we breathe in, leg lifts. We exhale, leg drops out. Inhale it back and exhale it down. Final option here is to bring the arms across the chest. Makes it much harder. So my leg can't drop out nearly as far when I do that. A few more if you can. Always rest as and when you need to. Oh yeah, the right side. Very hard, very hard. And I'm finishing off on the other side. If you want to do some more, if you really like it, you can put me on pause. And relax off there. Feel free to take a gorgeous full body stretch if you need to. And then team, we are going to come back up again. Take your time coming up. We're going into some squats and then moving these into a mini lunge. Squat position, feet underneath the hips. Knees are softening. We want to make sure we are even on those balance points, otherwise look what can happen. And then arms are coming across the chest. Guys, hip hinge first of all. So we push the bum to the back of the room. Back stays in neutral. We've got a lovely long spine, yes? And then lift it back up again. Once you're happy with the hip hinge, push your bum to the back of the room and then start to bend through the knees. So let me just show you that if your knees are quite far forward of the toes, often it can just stop the relevant muscles activating. It's like you want to push back, trying to find a chair behind you. Can you do it again? Now, if you are struggling with the next movement, you can always go back to the basic squat, no problem. You're going to see if we can do a mini lunge though. So I have got feet underneath the hips here and I'm taking one leg behind me. I'm about hip distance apart and it's everything that we know about the squat. So if you just pop your fingertips on your hip bones, make sure you've got your balance, knees are soft, send your bum behind you, drop the chest a little bit and then start to bend through the knees. If you look down, guys, your knees should be forwards. They should be tracking towards the centre of the foot. I'll show you from the side. Hip distance apart with the legs. Heel is lifted on that back leg. We push the bum back and then we start to bend. Notice front leg, I am trying to approximately keep my knee somewhere around the ankle joint. So again, I'm not pushing too far forwards. If you've got your fingertips on your hips, just notice how level they are as you start to go into your mini lunge. Final one. And then bring it back up and take some movement. Whatever you need to move into, we're going into the other side. So, hip distance apart team, you've got one leg back. I'm trying not to put one foot on the mat, one foot off the mat. Bring your fingertips just on your hips there, exactly the same. So push your bum back, finding that chair, and then start to bend through those knees. And then bring it back. If you're able to look down, just check your alignment out again. How are things? Are the knees tracking forwards? Have you got that knee just somewhere over your ankle joint? It's the same, I should say it's similar to a squat, but it's a bit more complicated, the movement pattern here, yeah? Can we go for one more? Good. And then release it off, take some movement, and we are done for this session. Very well done.